This is my 1993 Mazda Miata. So I bought this car about 4 or 5 years ago now as my first project car, pretty much. I had a Cavalier prior to this, which I modified and did some stuff to, but obviously that's not a cool car. It was also front wheel drive, so I decided to save up some money and get a new car. I had a job as a dishwasher. Basically what had happened was my license got suspended, and because I couldn't go out and do anything and spend any money on gas or anything, and I canceled my insurance, basically I just walked to work, worked my miserable dishwasher job, and saved up enough money to buy a project car. At the time, what I was looking to buy was a 240SX. I wanted an S13 hatch. And after going and looking at a bunch of them, I decided that for about $3,000, which was roughly my budget, I think I had like $3,200. I decided that on my budget, it's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna find. I wanted a clean S13, which barely exists in the first place, let alone in the state for my budget. And so I had kind of had an interest in Miatas as well. But the thing that turned me off about Miatas was the same thing that most people get turned off by, which was the horsepower. After reading some stuff online and people talking about it, it was pretty clear to me that it is an insanely small car. It barely weighs 2,000 pounds, and the horsepower just is irrelevant. Once you drive one, you will realize that it doesn't matter. Essentially, what I thought I was going to do was get a Miata and LS swap it. After reading about the engine and learning that, some turbo kits are relatively inexpensive and all that, that was my goal. And so for the past 4 years, basically, I've been trying to get it ready for a turbocharger. And so that's basically what I did. I have a Mega Squirt MS Plug and Play 2. It's running on my own tune, super trash. I wanted it to be safe. For whatever reason, my theory about it was I was going to set up the whole car to be able to handle over 200 wheel horsepower, and then I was going to get a turbo kit. I got the roll bar because I wanted to race it basically, although the rules on having a roll bar are a little gray. So I got that. I got the Advanti S1 Storms, which is a very cool and light wheel. Well, these tires aren't very good, but I did have some Dunlop Dureza Z2 Star specs that I really liked. They were 200 tread wear. They were a nice sticky tire, and so I got those. It's lowered on BC coilovers. One of the first things I did was basically rebuild the whole suspension. So I took apart all of the suspension. I replaced the rubber bushings with a stiffer rubber, which I wouldn't do again. I would just get polyurethane because the stiffer rubber I got, the stiffer rubber that I used was really expensive. So it was a kit by IL Motorsports, I believe, a German company, and it was just stiffer rubber. So I installed those. I got new sway bar end links that were adjustable. I have the Flying Miata sway bar set, front and rear. Those are pretty cool, and I remember they were a decent price. Really, that's about it as far as suspension upgrades. Oh, I have extended lower ball joints too, which were from Flying Miata. I think they're actually R-Speed. I'm actually not sure. It's been a really long time. But I took all of that apart, rebuilt it, and just made sure all of the suspension was fresh as well as upgraded where, I kind of thought it would be good. For braking, all I have is stainless steel brake lines, and then I have Hawk HPS Blues. Those have been pretty good. They've lasted me a long time. I bought them 4 or 5 years ago. I've driven this car hard, and they still have a ton of life on them. The braking doesn't seem to be a huge issue for me. Additionally, I have stuff like the Nardi wheel, which I found and bought used. I love this steering wheel. It's it feels so nice. It's super solid. It's a Daiei hub. that was a decent little piece. So some of the little stuff I did, like I removed the armrests and put the straps in, because like as you can see, you know, it kind of gives you more leg room, honestly, like on this side, which is kind of nice. I'm not a big person at all, and I find it useful, so I don't know how actually big people do without it. So I have these Innovate gauge sets, air to fuel ratio, and a boost gauge, which, you know, I was just reading vacuum for now. I pretty much just made this plastic piece, obviously, and dremeled that out. It's not particularly beautiful, but it's functional, and like I like this setup. This was actually just radio ripped out of my Cavalier. Got like Roadster floor mats, which are kind of nice. Obviously this is like easily detachable. That's just so, you know, most people that own Miatas understand that like your cups get in your way of your shifting, and nobody likes that. I did a shifter rebuild almost immediately when I got the car. That's definitely worth doing. I have a drift button. I have this basically for racing. So when I go to launch, I can just put it in gear, hold this up, and, you know, rev up, and then just drop it. So I pretty much just have that for launching. Also, like when I'm at Bandimere and I'm lined up to do a quarter mile, I just use this manually and manually brake my car while it's off. As you can see, 155,000 miles. That's a thing. The trunk is gutted, as you saw. The sound deadening underneath pretty much everywhere in the interior except underneath along this strip of the transmission tunnel is gone. I have turn signal intakes, SCCA legal tow hooks in the front and back. I did have a GV style front lip, like just a knockoff one, but that got destroyed because low. It does have hail damage, as you can see. Super unfortunate. That just happened this last summer, so I'm really bummed about that, to be perfectly honest. These hood louvers are Flying Miata hood louvers. So did the catch can. That was just an eBay catch can. That thing collects a lot of oil. So I do have upgraded injectors. I mean, it doesn't matter, doesn't do anything, but I do have them. Those would be able to support low boost. I don't remember what the flow of them is. So I do have a coolant reroute, which I did when I pulled it out. It's the DIY one. Somewhere on the Miata forums, there's a place that gives you a part list where you can basically do a DIY coolant reroute. I have the brake booster brace. That definitely firmed up the pedal. That was a cool upgrade too. I upgraded the ground strap on the block for no reason. I do have upgraded motor mounts. They are what Flying Miata sells as their upgraded motor mounts that are like supposed to be upgraded from stock. Like I think they're called Mazda Speed. The engine still moves like a lot. So I don't think under boost it would be a very good set to have. So just a DIY intake, which I pretty much just did for the GM IAT for the Mega Squirt. And then these were a good move. So as you can look down, as you can see, I have like this LRB skid plate kind of. What these do together, it basically forces all the air that goes through there through the radiator more efficiently. And so no power steering, no AC. Oh, I have the Suzuki water bottle relocation. Honestly, this car is a total mess right now. I mean, it's so neglected. This is sad. This is like a new fender I bought. The fenders were like crazy bashed up when I bought the car. I waited for a white fender so I didn't have to paint them. Then of course it gets hail damage. The exhaust is all stock except the catback. I have I did a bumper cut. I think it looks pretty good to me. The catback is a Racing Beat catback. But yeah, I mean, just due to my neglect, the paint quality all over the car has really gone to shit. This is not my daily, so like I don't drive the car a lot, and I also don't take care of it as much as I should. I only paid, you know, $2,800 for the car, but still, like, I don't know. And after it got hail damaged, I totally like kind of gave up. And I don't know, it's nothing really special. So obviously, you know, I didn't get a turbo kit. I think that's not gonna happen just because I'm not really willing to spend that much money on cars right now. I've had a lot of fun with this car. I've taken it to Bandamere to race, to do some drag racing. I've taken it to, you know, do PPIR time attack. I've driven it a ton. I've had so much fun. Oh, you're not really gonna be able to see it, but it has a 4.1 gear ratio Torsen LSD that I swapped in. That was expensive. So it does have an LSD. That made a huge difference. I mean, delivering power to both those wheels, like, it brought so much balance to the power delivery. It's awesome. Oh, I also have a stainless steel clutch line. Yeah. It has oil pressure, which is amazing. These also got cracked during the hail. I think the intake sounds pretty awesome. Additionally, I made like a little muffler delete that's like pretty sweet looking. I just bought a flange and a test pipe, and then and then my friend welded them in, like, you know, a decent position. But I think it sounds pretty good. It's definitely loud, way too loud, but it sounds pretty good. I like it. Also at home I have a hard top, which is great to have. Obviously, I like to have the top down all the time, and it's like November now and I still have the top down. The hard top's gonna go on probably at the end of the week though, but I do have a color matched hard top. But anyway, thanks for watching this Miata video. I have loved this car for a long time, and honestly, a big reason I'm making this video is because I'm kind of thinking about selling it, in all honesty, just because I could take the money and put it into better places. This thing is only going to cost me more money. It's cheap to insure. It doesn't take a lot of gas, but still, if anything breaks on it, you know, it's just going to be game over. I'm very torn on what to do with it. I do definitely, I don't want to sell it, but like logically, I think it would be a really wise idea. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment and subscribe if you enjoyed it. There are more Miata videos on this channel if you want. They are not very good. It'll show you all the stuff I did when I pulled the engine out. Thanks for watching.